All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Amateur Hour podcast. As you can see, not the normal two today. We got the special third guest. So, Carla, welcome on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you got the Opines sign between the two heads. I feel like
Yeah.
I'm the special guest today. So,
Well, that
I'm
actually worked out
honored that
really
I'm
nice.
honored the Opine family let me on today. So, thank you guys.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So just finished up Thursday night football. It's Thursday. It's 10:30. That's the dedication we have to our fans.
Hmm.
Late night recording. Carla should have been to bed an hour ago. She's pissed she's staying up for this, but
hmm
John dragged her into it. So Carla, we'll start off with you. You've been doing pretty well in the pick'em. So give your
Thank
thoughts on
you.
the NFL season so far.
Yeah, I really don't know. Honestly, I feel like people are like, oh, you really don't need to know football to do the pick 'em, but I feel like you need to know a little bit because I've gotten a lot better this year because I'm in a fantasy football league, so I actually like follow stuff now more closely. So I don't know. That's kind of a vague question, I guess, about the NFL season overall. I think the NFC North's doing really well. Like that was a surprise. Kind of glad the Vikings lost tonight, even though it was on a shitty way to end. But
Bad call by the refs.
bad call by the refs. But
Bad miss
now
face
they're
mask,
tied
yeah.
with now they're tied with Packers, so that makes me feel a little bit better. And the Bears are doing pretty good too. So that's kind of scary.
Yeah, that was a bad general question on my part, but
That's
so
okay.
seeing the Packer
Overall
season so
NFL
far,
wins.
what would you say of the Packer season? What you've seen so far? You've seen some in person, some watching TV, on the away games. So what do you think?
Yeah, tell about the
Yeah.
game Sunday too.
Yeah, the game Sunday was really fun. Of course, it came down to like kicking a field goal, and we just got a new kicker, and our other one was dog shit. So I did not think he was gonna make that last second field goal, but it was really fun to be there in Lambeau because like it was so loud and everyone was just like screaming when he made that field goal. So that was fun. I feel like I'm pretty good about the Packers. The start of the season kind of sucked when Love got injured right away, and we were all worried it was like a season-ending injury. But now he's back, and we won both of our games that he wasn't even there. Now they're 5-2. So the defense is looking good, which is fun to say because last year their defense was not good at all. I feel like it hasn't been good for a while, actually.
Hmm.
So yeah, kind of excited to see them to continue to play. Hopefully they play the Jaguars Sunday, but I feel like we always do worse against a bad team. So we'll see how that goes.
In Jacksonville, isn't it?
Yeah.
When's the next home game that you guys are going to attend?
I think
Niners.
the Niners, and that's
Oh,
like the
damn.
Sunday before Thanksgiving,
Yes,
I
we
Oh yeah,
got
think. Yeah.
Niners on Sunday and then Dolphins on Thanksgiving Day.
I think my parents are coming to Lambeau for that 49ers game, they said.
Oh, are they?
Oh,
So that'll be
fun.
good, yeah. Um, so speaking of that game against the Texans, a big matchup against them. They beat the Bears early in the year. They look like one of the best teams in the AFC. What are your thoughts on your new kicker? Are you and the rest of the fans in Green Bay okay with the sexual assault claims? You're
Wow,
able to
we're
look past
coming
that for
out
the made field
swinging.
goals,
Good,
or
good.
I know. I
Uh,
mean, I was telling John, I was like, it was kind of like a big thing that everyone was talking about when we got the kicker. But then now that he kicked like a game-winning field goal, I feel like everyone's just completely forgotten about that.
what
They're
about
here's
like,
the rug, let's
he's,
sweep it
yeah,
under.
yeah, they're like, he's the best guy ever.
What a stand-up guy.
what
And if
about
he
you
missed
though?
that field goal, they would have been bringing it. It would have
Oh
been on
yeah, yeah,
billboards that
they
he
would have
needs
been
to get
like
out of
put him
Green
in
Bay.
jail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know, it's not great, but I'm sure there's a lot of other players that have done worse things out there that have never even been found out. So,
The NFL is excellent at letting players like come back from like bad, shitty things that
yeah.
they've done. But
Yeah.
you smoke a little marijuana or something, you get a year ban.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you bet $10 on yourself to go
Yeah,
over the points prop and you're just fucking
yeah,
gone for 7 weeks.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You bet $100 on some other sport, not even football, and you're suspended for
Yeah.
a season.
In the
But you
Yeah.
beat
building,
a,
yeah.
you beat a woman in a restaurant and you get 2 games and a slap on the
Yeah.
wrist.
That's
The
so
times we
true.
live in.
I
Yeah.
thought that this is t touching on college football, which we don't usually do on this podcast, but I thought that Ali Gordon, who's a running back for Oklahoma State and like the probably the second best running back in the country behind that Ashton Gentry,
Yeah.
he got a DUI this summer, and then I don't know if you guys heard anything about this.
Mm-mm.
So he gets a DUI, and nobody was hurt, which is the biggest thing I think, but gets a DUI, and then the head coach, was like, "Yeah, we're just gonna discipline him within, and we're gonna punish him by giving him more carries to make him more fatigued and get him hit more." And he's like, "Listen." I've had a few few too many beers and gotten behind the wheel hundreds of times.
Oh my God, hundreds of
Yeah, that's
times.
that. Look it up. Look up like the Mike Gundy interview after he got the DUI. It's hilarious. Obviously, that's not like a funny thing, but it was just funny like how poorly he handled it, I guess.
Yeah, no,
He didn't handle it at all. I feel
No,
like.
yeah.
we're gonna punish him by working him.
And it's just the perks of being a good player on your team in college or in pros. Like, if that guy was some third string scrub, he would have been probably taking his
No one would
scholarship
have
away,
given a
kicked off the
shit.
team. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have said like he hits the transfer portal the next day or something, or applied for a job at McDonald's as a fry cook.
Do you want to show David your cat?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a fourth
This is
special guest
Jonesy.
today. Jonesy,
Jonesy, he loves football.
named after Jones Soda, I think.
Yeah.
No. He's he's very fitting for Halloween in October, being a
Yeah,
black
he
cat.
just
So
looks like a shadow right now on the camera. You
yeah.
can't see any features at
This is
all.
pretty crappy quality overall, I
He
feel
lo
Well,
like.
he looks like an unlocked character in a video game.
he works all night. He works all night. He's haunting. He's spooking the neighbors.
Yeah, well,
And
you
then
think he wouldn't be home right now
in
then?
the day, he's really tired. Well, once we turn the lights out, he's gone. We don't know where he goes.
He
We,
just
we lose him.
he climbs up the chimney and comes back the next day.
Yeah. Yeah, like Santa cat.
Yeah, he's a reverse Santa Claus.
Um, Tell them about share with the guests your fantasy football team. First year doing fantasy football. How are you doing?
Yeah. So first year of doing fantasy football, it's with my brother and a bunch of his like in-laws and his wife's family, and it's 12 of us, and I'm currently winning, so that's
Whoa.
exciting. Yeah.
And
What's your
12,
record?
10-4, I think.
So we do the thing where you have to be in the top six as well. So you get your against your opponent, and then you get a point. You either win or lose whether you're in the top six scorers or not for the
Mhm.
week. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
I've never heard of a format like that.
Yeah.
It's like big wins, big losses. So that way, if like you play someone who's not scoring very high and you win, I guess that's not fair to other people that are scoring really high, but then playing against other people who are also scoring really high, if that makes sense. So it tries to reward like people who are consistently scoring a lot of points
So
every week.
if you score really well and smoke a team, you double your win basically.
Basically, yeah,
And then
exactly.
you can like say you're playing the other best team for the week and you guys are the two highest scoring. You might lose that matchup, but you get one win for being in the top six
Hmm.
on the week.
That's interesting. In all my years of fantasy football, I've never heard of a format like that. So
I
that's
kind of
cool.
like it. It's not bad.
12
Yeah.
man leagues or 12 people leagues, excuse me for my sexual sexism there. 12 people leagues are even harder because they're like your teams are shittier typically. You don't have as good
Yeah.
of players because there's, two extra
Because so
teams
many
with
people are,
rosters.
yeah.
But you're, I think, the first or second highest scoring.
First highest scoring, yeah.
Yeah, so she's been killing it. I did help her draft, but after that, you've taken over like free agency. You've done
Yeah,
a good job
I watch it
starting.
pretty closely, like injuries, who they're playing, like who I think will do better against like certain defenses or whatever. So
I
I
don't
would
even think
say,
John had to say that he helped you draft. That was kind of scummy on his
no,
part
I
there.
think he had
Yeah.
to make sure everyone knew that he was,
Yeah, yeah.
even though I'm beating him quite
yeah, you are.
by a lot.
But you do have a tight end. A nice surprise has been. So
Brock
she
Bowers.
drafted Brock Bowers, but
Ooh.
she also has Tucker
Mhm.
Kraft, who's had
Mhm.
some nice games, and then you took Jordan Love earlier than I said you should have, and he's been really
Yeah,
phenomenal. And then
even with all the interceptions, he's still scoring a lot of touchdowns.
and
Yeah, he
Romeo
has a lot of
Dobbs has been
touchdowns.
like sneaky good. He
Mhm.
gets like 10 or 12 points a week, but no one really pays attention because he's not like in the top 12 scoring, but he's a really great like
Yeah.
flex option. So
Mhm.
yeah, you've had a nice year so far. It's bullshit because I have like three leagues. I think I'm like 50% basically in all of them, except my dynasty league. I'm like I'm like 4-3 or 3-4, like really close to being 50%. Like not stellar at all. And Carla's just dominating.
Yeah, well, that's good. It's the year of Carla. It's the NFL season of Carla, I think.
I know.
It is. She turns 29
Yeah,
Saturday.
Saturday.
Oh, getting old,
Getting old. I
29.
know. I'm almost
Yeah.
30. Ew.
Wow, gross.
Don't look a day
Gross.
over 18 though.
Well, what does that say about you,
Oh,
Jonathan?
sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Day over 19.
Stop.
Yeah, that
That's
makes it
better.
better.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's
Yes.
see what else. What else? Have
Hey,
you been
tell us
sports
about your
betting at all,
Bears.
Carla?
Sports betting?
Yeah, have you been sports betting at all or doing any of
No.
She
that
just watches me
daily
lose.
fantasy stuff?
No. I
Yeah, you
get
don't. John's not exactly an inspiration to get you to deposit any money.
I'll be like, Carla, I put in 50 and I'm only down 20.
Yeah.
She's like, wow,
It's
great.
always a win. Even though if he's losing, he always makes it sound like a win, you know? He's
Yeah.
always like, well,
Very
we put
positive.
50 in.
Yeah.
I
If,
tell you
if
what,
anything, I
Dave,
learned a lesson out of this loss. So yeah, overall, it's a win.
that's right. I cannot bet NBA, dude. I cannot pick NBA to save my life. Like I can pick NFL, I can pick I can't legally bet in Wisconsin, but I can pick like two guys to throw over a certain amount of yards, and I can do that maybe 50% of the time. But NBA, everything I touch, it turns to garbage. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah. No, NBA is really hard to bet on.
I don't
I,
get it. Why
I
is it
think
so hard?
it's because it's very unpredictable of how much effort you're going to get in each night. I think
Hmm.
like you have the consistent guy. There's like 10 guys in the league that'll score 25 plus points a game. And then everybody else, like they'll get their buckets, whether it's from the free throw line, 2-point shots, 3-point shots, they will score 25 plus. The other guys in the league, like they might come out and not even care that they're playing a game that night.
Yeah, that's what it
And and,
feels
and you
like.
have to bet your hard-earned money on them, and they just go out and do not give a shit. And the team gets blown out by like 25 on primetime basketball television.
I still
Did you
remember
bet on the Sixers last night? Or the 76ers? Or no?
me.
No, David.
No,
No?
no.
I thought that's what you were referencing. Sorry.
Oh no, but it's just like it's impossible to figure out because sometimes they just do not give good effort.
Um,
So
I remember in college. Remember you and Jake Sepka had the units. Have you heard of this? Have you heard this story?
I've heard, yeah, I think I have.
I'm not going to ask you what your unit size is, but they
you never
would.
ask a man's unit size.
If you were they started off betting NBA, or at the time you were betting NBA. So if it's a game that you're sure a team's gonna beat the other team, you bet 5 units is your maximum. So a unit is like whatever you want it to
Hmm.
be. So I remember the first time I heard about this, Speaks is like, yeah, I got a lock tonight, dude. The Celtics are only favored by like 3 points to the Sacramento Kings. And I put 5 units down. I'm certain this is gonna win. And the Celtics lose by like 30 points.
It's impossible.
And every
Some
time.
some nights they just do not care. Like the beauty of baseball is like every pitch matters. Like no baseball player is gonna go up there and not try to get a hit, like or try
I
to
feel
hit a
like
homer.
basketball, they
That
play so many games too. Like, don't they play a lot of games usually?
well, yeah, but like they just sometimes they
Baseball's
go
like
out
what,
there and
160?
baseball is double the amount of
Oh,
games, but like
really?
baseball, you're not trying to go up there and go 0 and 4, but like a basketball player, if they miss the first couple of shots, it might be like, yeah, tonight's not my night.
They just stop playing.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow, or like they'll get benched. Like the baseball player is gonna get 4 at bats no matter what. The basketball
Yeah.
player misses a couple shots, they get benched, or they twist an ankle and they don't feel good the rest of the game, or they had a game the last night, so they're gonna sit out the next game. Like I think the NBA is lame. I don't know. I like the playoffs, but the regular season to me is useless.
Don't say that to Max, dude.
I know there's a lot of guys that we know and love that love NBA, but it's not my league at all. College basketball's coming up though. I love me some college basketball.
And
That is fun to
you'll
bet
bet
on.
on that.
Yeah, but
Did,
Josh McInerney, my good buddy from Drake, always would say when I would get pissed about losing college basketball bets, he's like, "Dude, you're betting on an 18-year-old that probably failed his first calculus test and got broken up with his high school girlfriend."
It's so
So
now
true.
that's a good snap to reality, not to get so upset at them.
that's true. Do the college basketball players, do they lay it on the floor every night?
Oh, they lay it out, yeah, blood, sweat, and tears, dude. But
Every
sometimes they're
night.
just sometimes they're just kind of ass, you know. At least NBA players are ta all talented. Some of the college kids are scrubs.
But they got big hearts.
But they have huge hearts, yeah. So you like to bet on the heart and the hustles, but when you've taken over and they're like 6 points away with 5 minutes left and they're just bricking shot after shot after shot, it just makes you devastated.
You will find this interesting actually, Carla. I think 2 years ago when we were still in Iowa City, Drake, their first like 19 or 20 games, they covered the spread 20 games in a row, like
Damn.
on the sports gambling Reddit forum, everyone
It was
was
all
talking
over
about the
like
Drake
Twitter
Oh,
bet sports
Bulldogs.
really?
betting and stuff.
Betting
Yeah,
on
they're
the.
like Drake Bulldogs, 20 straight games covering the spread. Yeah.
And
Can
then
you
people,
imagine that 21st game though when you bet on
Oh
it?
yeah.
yeah,
You know
They
I'll do a
don't get
5 unit
it.
play that would lose for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what swung it is you started betting on them.
They probably did. Yeah, like game 19 of the 20 game win streak. That's when I got into it. So
But there were some guys that caught on like game 10 and then they were doubling it. So whatever they'd win, they were just letting it ride to see how long it could go. So it was getting I
Yeah.
saw some posts where it was getting to be pretty large. And unfortunately, I think a lot of them did not pull out in time. you
Yeah, I
know?
mean, knowing when to pull out is the hardest thing to do. You have to pull out at the right time. Otherwise, things can get bad quickly.
Yes. They
Um,
didn't. They got greedy.
yeah, you can't get greedy. That's why I don't think I'll ever like dip my toes into cryptocurrency because I'll never know when to pull out. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't know whether to, stay strong and
Or
hold what
double
I have,
down. Hey,
or
it's
like, yeah,
down. We're
I
gonna
would
double
make two
down.
dollars and be like, now's my time. I have to get out because it's gonna tank. Like I just am too negative of a person, so I would never make it big.
Did you have Dogecoin?
No, I never had Dogecoin, but I don't think I ever told you. But that guy when I was doing my rotation in Green Bay / Appleton / Nina area for the CVS management rotation. My guy, Sean, oh no, Shane, his name was Shane. He had Dogecoin. He put 10 grand into Dogecoin.
Holy
And
shit.
when I was on my rotation, it was like shooting up big time. I think it was when like Elon Musk was getting into it or something and like advertising all over his Twitter
Yeah.
accounts. And this guy had his account at like 120K. And I'm like, dude, you got to take at least like 50K out and just like let the rest ride. And he's like, you got to do glass hands, dude. You got to let it ride.
No,
It's gonna
diamond hands,
He's like, we're
diamond
taking
hands.
it to the diamond hands, whatever. Yeah. He's like, we're going to the moon, dude. We're going to the moon. I was like, at least like take out the original 10K, dude. And then like you're not gonna lose anything. And he's like, no, diamond hands, baby, diamond hands.
Oh
And
my
I think it all
God.
tanked.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
by the time my rotation was done.
I agree with you though. I think if it was me, I'd take 10,000 profit. So
Yeah.
at the worst, you're coming out
Yeah.
10 grand ahead.
Take out 20K, let the rest ride.
I mean, does Shane, what was Shane's occupation? How much is this guy making?
Not enough to be, I mean, maybe he was trying to retire, but I was like, dude, Shane, I mean, this is like 6 months income if you just take like 10K out right now.
So what did Shane do?
He was a store manager.
Oh God.
I bet you Jessica knew him pretty well. We like would go
Yeah.
to Jessica's store every once in a while.
And he would
But
just
he
and
was a
he was
goober.
busting his ass.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, yeah. I mean, I don't know if those guys really bust their ass. I mean, but he was wheeling and dealing, that's for sure. He was slinging the CVS Care Pass like nobody's business.
How much was it a month? Like only 4.99 or something?
Yeah, like 4.99, but you get like $10 worth of free coupons. So it was definitely it was a great play to sign up for the CVS Care Pass.
Jess had a pharmacist that she would get to his station after he worked that day because they would alternate days, and his hair would be all over the keyboard because he was pulling out his hair. He was so stressed out.
Yeah, there's like
So
urine all over the
bad.
floor and his
Oh,
hair all over
stop.
the keyboard.
And I'm like, that guy's got to get out. He's like 25 years old. He's
Yeah,
almost balding.
losing his
That's probably my
hair.
guy Corey Dietz. Yeah, man. Shout out
Corey.
Corey Dietz, man.
I think that's who it was actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably
Yeah.
Corey. Yeah,
I was gonna say,
I
I think
think
his name is Corey.
I think him and Jessica were friends. He was like he was working his butt off, but he was
Did he
like
have
getting a
glasses?
bunch of OT. Yeah, he was telling me about he had glasses.
That's him.
Yeah, he's like 28 and bald because of how much stress that job
Well, he's pulling out
induced.
his own hair.
Yeah. Yeah, he had
Are
to
you
get like
getting
a
ready for
catheter
bed?
placed so he could just piss at the job at the station.
Yeah, he's catheterized into just a empty milk gallon.
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling about the Packers going forward? Are you pretty confident that they're going to get a playoff spot? Or are you worried about how tough the division's been, or what do you think?
Mm, what do you think, John?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I would
John
not be surprised if they were 9-8 again.
John
Because
tends to be kind of pessimistic about the
Oh,
Packers.
John's always pessimistic.
I don't like to get too excited. Because the moment I say, "Oh fuck, they're gonna go undefeated and they're gonna get the 1 seed," or even if I say they're
I
definitely
think
making the playoffs,
I think if they win Sunday, yes, they'll make the playoffs.
that's it, and they lock it, sign it.
Yeah, I think teams that are like 6-2 will have like an 80% chance of making the playoffs. That's
That's a
some
numbers girl
statistic
right
I
there.
heard.
That's a
Yeah.
stats girl
That's
pushing
good.
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah, so I think if they win Sunday, yeah, for sure. But if not, then I think it's gonna be a tight race.
It's a non-traditional season as far as the schedule is concerned, where like most of the division games are really late. I mean, obviously you've had the
Yeah.
Packers and the Vikings play early in the season, and then you've had a Vikings versus Lions matchup. But the Bears have not played a single division opponent. They have like 8 division games left, obviously, which are like still not starting for another like 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks.
How are you feeling
So
about the Bears?
I feel good about the non-divisional schedule, but I don't feel great about the division just with how solid it is, like top to bottom.
Mm,
I think I hope I'm not gonna eat my words later, but I think they split with the Packers. I think they get one against you guys and you get one against us.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know either way, probably just home and home. And then I think that we can split with the Vikings, and I think we get swept by the Lions.
Vikings looked
So
beatable tonight. I think that a
Yeah,
lot
it
of
didn't look good
a lot of
tonight.
teams were watching and they saw if you can get like any quarterback, if you can get Sam Darnold under pressure, he folds like a dish rag.
yeah, I mean he's been in a pretty good situation, but that left tackle that they have that's really
Went
solid,
down.
he went down, so that's a big
Yeah.
loss for them if
Oh
he's out for
yeah.
extended time.
Hmm.
Aaron Jones eventually is probably going to start showing some age and wear and
Yeah, I
I
agree.
tear.
think he's pretty injury prone, I feel like
Yeah,
too,
he's
you
usually
know.
misses a couple games for the Packers every year,
Yeah.
so he might,
Yeah.
sit out a couple games there. But they have a really good defense and a really good secondary, but it kind of got picked apart tonight by Stafford and those getting those
Cooper
two
and
Rams
Puka.
receivers
Yeah.
back. Yeah.
Um, we both now share a common enemy in Karen Rogers. Dave.
Dude, I mean, I don't despise Aaron Rodgers as much once he left the Packers, but he, I think, is officially washed.
Dude, he's not good. I feel like he's mid at best right now, if
He's
that
mid. He's
even.
he's been pretty mid,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, this. Who did they play this week? Patriots. Got to win. Should win. But
It's a
then
must win for the Jets.
and then in 4 days they have the Texans.
Dude, they have so many primetime games.
I
A
know, that's what
ton.
I thought too. I feel like Packers have none.
They should not have lost to the Russell Wilson led Steelers. I think that was a bad
That
loss for
was
them.
hilarious, dude.
Like they got smoked in the second half, like
I
24
went
to
to bed
answer
and
for
they
the
were
Steelers.
up, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, they never scored another
Yeah.
point
My
again.
my poor buddy Josh, he's like been he loves Aaron Rodgers, so he's been hammering like Jets team total overs and
Oh
like different
God.
Jets covers and
What
money
a
lines in his
losing
parlays, and they've
proposition.
just been getting smoked. Like they've been double doinking or not double doinking, but they've been getting doinks like two times a game, missing field goals left and right. Rodgers throwing picks, like
Well, then they've like fired their head coach and then pick up Devontae Adams, which I feel like is did absolutely nothing.
You hear we
no.
got Salah?
Well, did they sign him to anything? I thought he was just like at their practice.
Just an
He's just like
advisory role.
They
advising.
did like sign him to a contract.
I don't know if it's an
I don't
official
think so.
contract. I think it's fluid, is what they said, but he is until he gets a new position, he will be with the team.
I saw something this morning when I had Good Morning Football up, and they just said like they were talking about their thoughts on the Robert Saleh sighting at Packers practice. They didn't say anything about like him signing, like getting a job, so I didn't know.
No, I don't think he would. I don't even know what he would do at the Packers.
Well, I think they're gonna pay him to be some sort of advisor, is from
Yeah,
what I
but like a
understand.
permanent thing, I don't think so. So,
Maybe
you
the
know,
rest of the season.
yeah.
I think
Him and
it's good. I mean,
Malef,
anytime you can get a former head coach, even if they weren't like incredibly successful as a head coach, I
great
think it brings
defense
in
though.
good
Yeah.
perspective. He's a great defensive minded coach, but right now your defense is one of your strongest suits, I'd say.
Oh
But
man.
Yeah.
it was not the case last year. I think they made a good move getting a new defensive coordinator in there, and they've always kind of had the playmakers, but they got a couple good young guys too in there. So
Oh yeah, some good rookies.
That
yeah,
McKinney was a great pickup.
huge pickup, and
McKinney and Williams, I think his name is Evan Williams.
That
yeah,
rookie. Yeah.
yeah, from Oregon,
Yeah.
Fresno State, transferred to Oregon. He was a good safety for the Ducks for a year. He has an older brother Bennett too, who played for the Ducks as well.
Really?
Yeah, but Evan's a little bit better as you can see. But
Yeah, Evan Williams is also the name of a whiskey.
yeah, I've never had it. Is it good?
I can't say I had it either, and if I did, I don't remember it.
Okay, great insight there on the Evan Williams bourbon. I'm glad you brought it
Just
up.
just like a fun fact to throw out
Yeah,
there, you know.
yeah,
Like if your name was Jack Daniels or Buffalo Trace.
yeah,
I don't
sure.
know if anyone
Yeah.
would name their kid that.
No, yeah,
Woodford Reserve.
I could certainly see that. Yeah, I could
Yeah.
certainly see it.
Yeah.
Big game for my Bears this week. It's
Who
always a
do they
bummer
play?
when your NFL team's on a bye. So they're on a bye last week. I didn't get to watch my Bears, but this
All right.
Sunday they play the Commanders. It was supposed to be Jaden Daniels versus Caleb
Commanders.
Williams, but Jaden Daniels
Daniel's hurt.
probably gonna sit out with a tough Bears defense coming up on the schedule. They're gonna
So
protect him
now
from that.
your
So
favorite
I
QB.
so now it's my favorite QB. We're gonna have to take him down. It's gonna be depressing, but Marcus Mariota is gonna go in for the Commanders, and he looked good last week. It was against a pretty bad team, but he was slinging it, and they're scoring a lot of points, and
What's their record this season?
they're five and
Commanders.
two.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good, aren't they? Which I feel
Yeah,
like unexpectedly, at
yep.
least.
They lost to the
So,
Ravens in a tough game that they only lost by like 7 on the road in Baltimore, and then
oh
High
yeah.
lost.
scoring.
What other game did they lose? Or do they only have one loss?
They might only have one loss, maybe.
Yeah, that might be it. The Ravens game on the
Because
road.
they were underdogs. I picked the Commanders in the pick 'em. Sorry, David.
I think I'm gonna put money on Commanders money line. Emotional hedge.
That's smart. Dave, is there a better quarterback in the NFL right now than Lamar Jackson?
Mm, I don't know, man. I love Lamar Jackson. I love watching him play. I think he's the most fun quarterback to watch, but like every time it comes playoff time, he just crumbles when like you need him to pass the ball. Like he's so electric to watch run, but then like when he has to sit back and pass,
Hmm.
like he does it on these primetime games and it wows everyone. He's probably gonna win a third MVP when it's all said and done here this season, but he gets to the playoffs and it's gonna go be against the Chiefs. The Chiefs are gonna be like a 3 or 4 seed probably somehow, or they'll probably be undefeated and they'll look like shit all season, but somehow be
Hmm.
undefeated and then just
Yeah.
go to the Super Bowl again and probably win the Super Bowl again. So
Yeah.
I mean, like
They looked so bad in the 49ers game. I'm like, how did they even win? Yeah.
I'm just tired of getting my hopes up for anything else happening in the AFC. So like, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna put a Super Bowl future on the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl for the rest of Patrick Mahomes' career.
I think that's not a bad play. I don't know if you ever remember in Iowa City that Carlos co-resident Jay Thierry, does that name ring a bell, Dave?
Yeah, he was your officiant at your wedding. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a buddy that this guy loves smoking Marlboros. Like he'd do like 3 packs a day. We
Yeah,
watched
put
like
put
one.
like 10 grand on the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl and they won it. Yeah.
He's done
I've
it
heard this
like
story like 8 times. The Jay
what?
Terry's buddy putting a future on the Chiefs to win the Super
Every
Bowl,
time it's
dude.
like, do you know Jay Terry? He was Carlos
Yeah, like
It's
every
like
time I hear it,
watching.
I give a shit a little bit less.
It's like watching Alpha Christmas, Dave. If it gets around football season, I got to tell you that story.
Yeah,
All right,
no.
I'm gonna go to bed and I'll let you guys talk a little bit without
Talk
me.
shop,
So talk
We
shop.
only have 9 minutes.
locker room talk, Carla.
9 minutes.
Yeah, we only have 9 minutes.
Why don't
So
you just stick it out? Say you did the
you
full
do you
I
episode.
have
feel bad. I
any?
feel like you don't want me out here.
Oh, of course I want you on. I actually get sick of talking to just John. So,
Okay.
what are your thoughts as two Packer fans? That have seen a lot of football this season. Do you have any areas on the Bears that you're afraid of or concerned of? Going with 2 games left against Chicago coming up.
Other defense.
Okay, John's answer is the defense. Carl, is there anything that worries you about the Bears right now?
To be honest, I haven't watched too much of the Bears, but I feel like Caleb Williams has been pretty solid from what I've heard, I guess. Like some games. So I feel like he could definitely just like pop off.
Did you watch Hard Knocks with me?
Oh yeah, I did watch that a little bit. Yeah.
How did that
The,
feel to watch a show like that, like about a team that you like theoretically do not like?
we don't not dislike the
And
Bears though.
I know you don't have like hate. That's what I mean. Like you don't have hate in your heart for the Bears, but like it is a division rival. So
But it's
like,
always hard. Like you never want to root for them though.
yeah, you're not gonna
So
root for them. But like, does it almost like make you like want to in a way, like in a
Yeah.
sense?
I was gonna say like just how the production and like the music and they made it. I mean, I feel like they put like a really like emotional like vibe to it. So then you're like rooting for them.
Yeah, they do such a good job with Hard
Yeah,
Knocks, I
Oh,
feel like.
yeah.
Jave, if you haven't heard it, or if you don't remember that, what's the last song?
Chicago. Or I don't
When
know if
I'm
it's called
back in
Chicago.
Chicago,
Oh
I
yeah,
feel it. Great song, dude. And then that
good song.
montage, and then they'll do like at the end, they did him like slow motion slinging like 30-yard bombs, and then the trains running across, and then the skyline. Like that was pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It is cool to see those. I do not remember it only being 5 episodes. I was like devastated when it
Was it
ended.
5 or 6?
It's
Six?
only like 5, I think.
Could have been.
It's really
Are
It's
short.
they
not long.
they're doing like an in season of all
And AFC North.
in the
Yeah,
AFC
That's
North.
gonna be
yeah,
Okay.
when does that start?
We'll let you know.
Well, I have HBO too, so yeah, but if you see it, let me know.
We're gonna let you know, Dave.
Yeah, okay, yeah. You're
Yeah,
talking to
just
me
you
like I haven't
guys.
seen it, like I watched it.
Hey, we're gonna
Yeah,
keep
we'll let you know, dude. We'll give you play by play of every episode. We'll let you know the big takeaways.
We'll video it and
That's gonna
send it
be
to you.
it's gonna be interesting to see how like they cover 4 teams in one
yeah.
season of
Because
Hard
they
Knocks.
pumped that shit out fast, man. They gotta like cut it in like two
The
days and
next
put it
day it
out.
comes out. Yeah, it's
It's
nuts. Like
unbelievable.
they play a preseason game and then like the next day the episode's coming out.
And they got the guy narrating the effing scenes and they
I
got
really
interviews.
obviously a diehard Bears fan, but like I just looking at the format of the show, I really liked the off-season like Giants one. Like I
Mm.
hate the Giants. I think that they're boring as hell, but like that show and the format of like seeing behind the scenes of like free agency and the draft, I thought was really interesting.
Did you watch the in season with the Dolphins?
I watched some of it, but not like in
We
the
like that a
moment.
lot.
I
Yeah, I
tried to
liked
like
watching that.
look back on it. I think I would have liked it maybe if I watched it last year, but I don't know. I think like the new football season had already started, so I was like, why do I give a shit about the 2023
Yeah, yeah,
Miami
we were watching
Dolphins?
it as they came out, so I think
Yeah.
it was
Yeah, that would
different,
be
you
more
know.
interesting for sure.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
What?
it's just a fun team. The Dolphins, when Tua
Yeah,
is healthy, is a fun
Mike
team.
McDaniels too. He's kind of
Awesome
goofy,
guy.
so he's
yeah, that's a
entertaining.
fun team to have. They did a good job of like picking a team that would be interesting to watch.
Hmm.
Speaking of the Dolphins, I'm glad you brought it up because it jogged my memory. I wanted to ask you, so Tua Tagovailoa, he's gonna come
I
back.
yeah.
What are your thoughts on him coming back, number one? And then, like I guess like if you were the different perspectives of if you were like a family member, if you were him, if you were his head coach, if you were his teammate, what would be your different opinions on it?
I saw a press conference where he was speaking on it, and they asked if like he was gonna wear a Guardian cap. He's just like no, and like I feel like he just because I mean we watched that documentary like what is it called?
Hard
Whatever the
Knocks.
document Hard Knocks, and like he just seemed like a completely different person than like in front of the camera. Like he seemed I don't know like gruffer almost and like not as with it. And so I mean how many concussions has he had?
Three diagnosed in the NFL alone.
Yeah.
And
So
they're all
I
like where he gets in like the fencing position. It's not like he gets like a hard hit. He like
no.
is unconscious on the ground.
Like last time, like he like hit his head into the defender and then just like went down and
Yeah.
was laying there and his fingers were like curling up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think no matter who you are, I don't think you should think he should be playing.
When he gets when his fingers do that, it reminds me of Star Wars when they get the Force lightning, where
Sure.
they're getting
Yeah.
zapped, you know, and their shit's all tensed up.
Yeah. It's a good way to like bridge the gap to our nerd audience. So I do appreciate that. It looks like Lord of the Rings when they're reaching for the ring, when his arms do that.
Yeah,
But it is crazy that his like
That
exactly.
was
his
such
arm
a out of
when his arms
pocket
get stiff. Like
comparison.
it's scary to watch for sure. Um
Doesn't look real. It seems like he's acting. Like,
I think it's
Yeah,
insane that he's gonna come back and not wear the Guardian cap as it at
yeah.
least like that's like the minimal thing that I would like
minimal.
require
Yeah.
if I was the NFL or if I was like his family member or his head coach. I would say like this is a decision that you can make as a man and as an NFL player, but like I'm requiring you to wear this Guardian cap.
Hmm.
And like it's like getting in a car accident without a seatbelt and you explode through the windshield and slam into a tree and then you
2 weeks later,
survive
you're back
and
doing
two
it
weeks later
again.
you're back in a car and you say, who needs a seatbelt? That shit's overrated anyways.
You're texting on your
I don't like
phone,
the way that it
swerving.
feels on my shoulder.
Yeah.
You gotta wonder if like they're like it's not the brain damage that's like making him, not want to wear it. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like maybe his frontal lobe's damaged and he's just like taking risks and doesn't give a shit anymore. I don't know. Like I really don't know because I don't know anyone in the right mind who would do that and not like would go back to the NFL and not wear that.
He walks out there and looks at the people with Guardian Cam. He's like, what a bunch of pussies.
I mean that's a good take. It could be due to his actual brain damage that's like making him like make these poor decisions. But
Yeah, it
that's where
could
I think
be.
someone needs to step in and say like, hey,
His
maybe this is a
mother.
bad idea. Yeah.
But is he even going to be a good like quarterback if he's like has brain damage,
There's going to
Like
be like 30 Miami Dolphins receivers running around on the field for him, probably. And
yeah.
each one has like the Tweety birds above their heads,
Yeah.
And he's like, that guy looks pretty open.
It is a shame because he's a lefty. I love watching him pass it because it just looks so much, to me at least, it looks so much different than all the right-handed quarterbacks. Maybe it's not that much
I feel
different,
like he
but to
just
me,
throws it differently, but
it
maybe
looks
that's because it's
it looks
left-handed.
cooler. It looks unique, and so I've always liked watching him play. So I am sad that it's like this, you know.
Anything, I think that they're gonna take him back with open arms because their quarterback situation without him has been so abysmal. Like
Well,
Tyler
Didn't
Huntley,
they
I
just
thought would
pay
be
him a bunch
good.
of money?
Yeah, and they paid him a huge
massive
contract.
contract, the same as Jordan Love and Trevor Lawrence.
All those guys are just getting crazy contracts now. It's insane.
Yeah,
Where does it stop?
it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they have like this, obviously you have the salary caps but then they always just like readjust the contracts anyways, like how Mahomes has
Hmm.
always done it and stuff. So I'm sure they'll do that with all these other guys, but it's like you look at a team and like they have to, if they don't have like an iconic quarterback, they're not one of the better teams in the NFL. Like that's kind of how it's been, right? Like you
Hmm.
look at the Packers, they have Jordan Love with a huge contract.
What
You
about
look
the
at the
Lions,
Bengals,
though?
Joe Burrow, huge contract. The Lions, Jared Goff, huge contract, good quarterback, been to multiple Super Bowls.
Does he have a big contract?
I think so, yeah. I could
I
be
didn't
wrong. I
know
thought
that.
he had a decent contract. Maybe not. I thought the Lions just extended him when because it was like they made the trade and then it was like they're not sure what they're gonna do with him. and they're maybe gonna like try to get somebody else, draft somebody else, and then they extended him to like give him a big contract to like be
Okay.
like, you're our guy.
Yeah, I still think I mean I like Jared Goff, nothing against him, but I still think he's a bit of a system quarterback.
I mean, yeah, I think that's fair. But I guess like the point I was trying to make is Jared Goff has been like a solid NFL quarterback for how long now? 7 years. He was a number one overall pick in the draft. But like you look at
It
a
was
team that
rocky
has
at the
like
end with the Rams though. Remember when he was there?
uh I think one of his last seasons with the Rams, he lost in the Super Bowl to the Patriots. So I don't know if that's necessarily Rocky going to the Super Bowl
I
and
was gonna say,
losing.
didn't they go to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Okay, we got like 30 seconds left, but I'll look it up. I thought he had a losing season or two before he left.
Mm, potentially. Yeah. I don't know if he lost. Yeah. Either way. Yeah. Great point, John. This has been another episode of Amateur Hour Podcast. Carla, it was amazing having you on. Hopefully you come on next time.
Yeah.
Thank you all for listening, and we appreciate the 8 of you that do.